Am I the butthole for calling something a glitch in the matrix? I, 19 female, am a nerd. My boyfriend, 21 male, is not. My favorite series is probably the Matrix film trilogy. So the other day we were walking in the park and talking, and then suddenly I saw something super cool. It was a flower that looked like it kind of mutated into a cactus. It was pretty awesome and I wish I took a picture. I looked to my boyfriend and said, "Yo, it's probably just a glitch in the matrix." He looked at me and went ahead to go to his place. He called me later and said that I'm so embarrassing to be around in public and that I should stop acting like a child. I didn't know I was embarrassing before, and I seriously wish he'd told me. Am I the butthole for being childish and embarrassing? Not the butthole, honestly? That's not even that nerdy to say. I know loads of people that make that reference. I'm going to exclude myself here because I know I'm nerdy, because it's a very popular franchise. You can do much better than that. If you can't be yourself around someone, then what is the point? That's not love. I can concur as a person who has never watched The Matrix. That is a phrase I do use. My wife, who has never seen The Matrix, Star Wars or any other sci-fi films, has used that phrase as well. It is definitely not nerdy anymore, it's a general use phrase. I'm confused how an action movie is considered nerdy. It involves computers and robots. That's all some people need for something to be nerdy. I'd say the degree of fandom it inspires is what makes it nerdy. That's what makes it geeky. Q geek versus nerd argument. QQ versus Q argument. I would never queue to purchase a Q ball. This is your Q to Q. Q line versus Q argument. Ah. I thought geek and nerd were synonyms, please enlighten me. Nerds are into math and science, geeks are passionate about fandoms. Math nerd versus Star Wars geek. You can be nerdy about other things. It's not that narrow of scope. I would say that geek connotes enthusiasm and passion for something, nerd connotes knowledge and understanding of something. The Star Wars geek is super into it, loves a big release in the franchise, and likes to discuss it. They might make fan art or projects. A Star Wars fan is predisposed to buying a Star Wars game. The most involved geeks belong to fandom communities or institutions, but it's definitely not a requirement. In a tabletop gaming context, the one who wants to play the most and who is passionate about getting a game going is likely the biggest geek. The Star Wars nerd knows the model numbers of the different X-Wings, or the name of every Moff that's been given a name. They know what planets are in what parts of the galaxy, and which systems constitute the core worlds. They might be geeky about it, or not. In a tabletop gaming context, the nerd is the person who knows the rules book back to front and who you can generally rely on to know the rule almost as good as the book. They likely know different systems as well, or other editions of their favorite. You can be both a nerd and geek, or one but not the other. And neither nerd nor geek are childish things to be embarrassed by. You know, except when it goes way too far. You can be both, by the way. This is an excellent illustration of the difference. In case you're one of today's lucky 10,000, the expected end was with you. May the Force be with you is a farewell saying among Jedi in the Star Wars universe. This would be well known by Star Wars geeks. The response given marks the answerer as a nerd. Disclaimer: because this is Reddit, I'm not judging either group, simply illustrating the difference. Web link. Commenting because I want to upvote, but it's 42, so I'm going to upvote one of your other comments. People like this guy are why they changed the machines from using human brains as a neural net, which makes sense, to using us as batteries, which does not. I honestly don't get that change. The Matrix already touches on some pretty sophisticated philosophies that most people didn't get. Why wouldn't they add such a cool minor detail with a brief layman explanation? Same reason Switch wasn't allowed to be female in real life and male in The Matrix. Force simplification for a general audience. I'm glad the Wachowskis got to be part of the general awakening of how gender works, in the 20 years since then. Because it's really a dystopian, post-apocalyptic, sci-fi film. Yes, there's kung fu and action, but it's about robots overthrowing humanity and using their bodies as fuel sources. Interestingly, the original reason the machines harvested humans was to harness their brains as processors rather than for power. But it was dropped in favor of the battery idea because they didn't think people would understand what a CPU was. Thanks, I always wondered why you would use humans as battery, ever. This makes so much more sense. Fun fact: it's also an allegory for the trans experience in America. My girlfriend has always believed that was the message of the film. She said it was blatantly obvious. She was much vindicated when one of the Wachowski sisters actually stated it outright in an interview. Trust a trans girl to spot a trans subtext a mile off, lol. It's awesome no matter the genre. But they should have stopped after the first one. Because it's sci-fi/action. I commented this separately, but I've never seen The Matrix, and am generally not a sci-fi person. I frequently call something a glitch in the Matrix. It just seems like a common phrase at this point. Was The Matrix even considered a particularly nerdy movie? It's not like she was making really niche Dungeons and Dragons references. No, when it came out everyone saw it. It was very successful and mainstream back in '99. And even if it was a niche reference, who cares? I hate when people feel the need to police others in the interest of being cool in a public place like a park, no less. That's like how I got pissed at someone when I was referencing Dungeons and Dragons and Gauntlet Dark Legacy. They didn't say anything, but when I mentioned Yoda they're like, wow, you're such a secret nerd, and I'm sorry, Star Wars is so mainstream it's no longer nerdy. Right? So many people use it, not sure why he would be embarrassed. His personality probably has the texture and intrigue of unsalted mashed potatoes, so he's threatened by anything vaguely fun. Oh, that's a beautiful insult, I love it, and fully agree. Are slasher insults, Reddit link. Huh. I felt this description and am borrowing liberally. Extreme personal insecurity and or misplaced resentment/frustration. Or just sexism. Women don't like nerdy stuff, so if your girlfriend likes them she's embarrassing him by going against what is normal or something. Or he's breaking down ops' self-esteem via little cutting remarks like this and slowly escalating emotional abuse, person shrugging. This is literally what I was thinking. Maybe I'm reading into it, but it seriously seems like he's trying to manipulate her to stop being herself. Please don't date someone like this. You're so young, go find someone who can nerd out about the Matrix with you. Plenty of people will. Because he is a genuine butthole. I second this. Never watched the movies and have used it. And I am over 40. The horror. Yeah, I know plenty of people who haven't seen it. It's definitely outgrown just the movie it's from. On the other hand, you should totally see The Matrix, it's a great movie, lol. Same. I saw 2 of them when they were released and never again. A glitch in the Matrix is a pretty commonly understood phrase, and I'm 51. If I overheard someone say that in public, I would know exactly what they meant and would not cause me to make any type of character judgments. Think your boyfriend's insecure or something. It's basically become a modern euphemism for déjà vu. I wonder if he gets angry at Shakespeare references too. To be or not to be nerdy. Honestly, it's a phrase that evokes some sense of existentialism and also highlights the randomness of the universe. Like, are we real, or part of some bigger plot? And also the weirdness of seeing 2 people side by side wearing the same thing, the type of situation I hear that phrase the most. You can do much better than that. If you can't be yourself around someone, then what is the point? That's not love, this right here. This is not about original poster being nerdy. This is about Op's boyfriend being so insecure that a pretty well-established reference embarrasses him for no reason. And then using that insecurity to make original poster feel like there is something wrong with her. That acting like a child comment is a huge problem for me. He is trying to manipulate Op's behavior, and that is just not cool. Op, throw the whole man away. For real. Everything I have to say about it would be way nerdier than that. My husband would probably laugh with me and make some sort of reference to it being from an alien planet or something. How is what they said even childish? Matrix was super popular with adults. My son and I would have started one-upping each other on geeky phrases, lol. I've raised him right. Also, why is being nerdy embarrassing? Original poster needs a partner who appreciates these things. NTA. I have not seen The Matrix and used that saying, so it's not even a big nerd thing. It's just part of pop culture. No, it's not. If he's going to act that way over one funny, pretty commonly used comment, he's really not worth hanging around. I'm sure Original Poster could easily find another guy that not only doesn't have a problem with the reference, but actually finds it funny. I've only seen bits and pieces of these, but I'd still get this reference because the franchise is that popular. Op's boyfriend is a jerk. Heck, I think I used that phrase before I even saw the movies. Embarrassed smiley face. Agreed. He's throwing a fit over something so small, and it's important in a relationship to at least be supportive of the other's hobbies or quirks. Husband says it fairly regularly in our house. We're both nerdy, but that phrase is almost a pop culture staple at this point. Not the butthole, please leave this lump and find someone that appreciates you for you. Someone who isn't so concerned with needing the rest of the world to fit into his boring box of acceptable and appearances. NTA, geez, I've said the same thing and I'm almost 50. It's actually a pretty common saying. Your boyfriend sounds like an ah. You should be with someone who actually likes you. So not the butthole, I am 50, have never seen the movies, and even I have said that. Though, full disclosure, I'm also a huge nerd and gawk what others think of it. And it's not even something for 50-year-olds. I'm 16, never seen the movie, and I've made that reference a couple of times. Also 16, done the same thing, not seen as much as a trailer. Definitely worth watching the first one, cool story and the effects still hold up decades later. Also Keanu is wonderful and gave like his entire salary away in the sequels to the SF team. So many people get mistaken about whether someone actually likes them or not. Here's the thing, if someone doesn't like, doesn't approve of or puts you down for, your hobbies, the way you speak, the references and jokes you make, they don't like you. They just like some idea of you that they have made in their mind. That's why when you break that image by doing something like making a reference or a joke, they tell you to stop. NTA, but that boyfriend just isn't compatible with Original Poster. He's also insecure. Even if my girlfriend said something super awkward, I wouldn't give two craps what some stranger in the park thinks about it. What a weird thing for him to let weigh on him. Doesn't sound like this douche Keanu is compatible with anyone. I bet he didn't even look at the flower she found interesting enough to comment on. See, I don't think they have to like the same things you do, but they cannot put you down for the things you like and at least accept this is who you are, and they still should like you even with those things present. My BF likes animes that are not my style, but if he wants merchandise or to show me things from them, you can bet your ass I'm going to be excited that he's sharing what he loves with me, even if I don't get it sometimes. Yeah, you don't have to have the same hobbies, but you do need to respect each other's. Not liking was actually meant more like not approving of. Exactly this. Why is he with you if he doesn't like who you are? He's a true butthole. You should be with someone who laughs at your jokes, not yells at you for making them. There are plenty of people who would appreciate your comment. You are not stuck with this guy. I promise there are other guys out there who will get you 99% of the time and not be in butthole for the rare times that they don't. It's a recurring plot point in Dark. Definitely a common saying. There needs to be a name for people who want to be so vanilla it's cringeworthy. There are several laughing my butt off. Boring. Normie. Etc. NTA. What was he embarrassed about? The zero amount of people around you to hear it? He sounds like a douche in the butthole. Exactly, people always say, oh, people are thinking about us, they think we're stupid, but they really don't. Those people are just normal people like you and me, they don't give a damn about a couple walking in a park making jokes and references. If anything, I'm sure a fellow Matrix fan would get a chuckle out of the comment. But, I'm assuming because of the big C, there wasn't anyone around to hear it. If anything, I'm sure a fellow Matrix fan would get a chuckle out of the comment. I'm not even a fan, have watched them a lot because son and hubby are, and I would still enjoy it if I heard someone say that. I'm also that nerdy mom that used to, before 2020, crack up if my Murloc or Fel Reaver, from World of Warcraft, alerts went off in public and I saw someone freeze in terror and look around. I grew up in a small town and I developed this theory that kind of behavior is completely related to the size of the city you live in. I've always found people in small towns are way more concerned about what people are doing around them and concerned that people are watching them. Which is probably true. Small towns are judgmental rumor mills where everyone knows each other. Then you visit a place like New York or Mexico City. No one gives a F. There's way too many people. I don't care what some guy is doing who I will never see again in my life, and likewise. I was born in the small town of Crescent City and it has a population of about 7K. My mom always saw those people as rude and nosy. Then we moved to Colorado Springs, Colorado, which has about 500,000 people, and she liked it a lot more there. So maybe that is true. I grew up a punk. Spiked hair, patches, pins, etc. In small towns, people will openly stare at you. Like old farmer men just standing their mouths agape. In a big city of millions, no one cares if your hair is spiked and colored. You're not wrong, but even in a small town, how can someone be embarrassed by someone saying what original poster said? The answer? He isn't embarrassed. He just doesn't like the fact that she said it and wants her to change for him. Guy is a loser. There was a time I thought everyone was judging everything I, or my family, did. It made for a very anxious 14th year. Is original poster sure he boyfriend is a grown-up? Exactly. You're so young, don't waste your time with people without will try to make you feel small. Not the butthole. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.